Great shot, Andy. Are you ready for some Champions Tour golf?
And with that, we are officially underway at the inaugural Sanford International presented by Cambria. I'm Kelly Stewart, everyone. Welcome to Minnehaha Country Club here in Sioux Falls. Jack Nicklaus and Andy North doing the honors at the opening ceremonies this morning. A thrill for the fans to see the man who has won more major golf tournaments than anybody else. 78-year-old Jack Nicklaus, thrilled to be on hand to help get things going this weekend, and a thrill for tournament host Andy North to get things started.
Trying to put on a great party, but you can't have a party without the players. And can't thank the 78 players who came here that put up with a lot of stuff over the last couple of days just to get to this point. So we're really excited to finally get the first ball hit, get the players out here, and really get off to a great event. I think we're going to see some unbelievable golf this week, and you're going to be shocked at how well these over 50 guys can still play. It's amazing.
Truly is amazing. Well, Nicklaus will join Andy North and Dave Stockton and Graham Marsh tomorrow afternoon for a 9-hole exhibition match. And then those legends are actually conducting a little kids clinic, and that'll get started at 5:15 or so on the driving range. So great for them to give back to the community. In the meantime, underway, round 1 of the Sanford International is complete. And here's a look at the leaderboard. Jerry Smith, Brant Job, Steve Stricker, and David McKenzie all in the tie for first. 7 under par. Scott McCarron, Lee Jansen, Paul Goydos all tied for second. They're 6 under par, and then it's pretty packed at the top. 7, 6, and 5 under. So it has been a great first day. Despite the weather, the grounds crew cleaned up very nice to get these golfers a nice little course to play on. Let's get to some highlights. Starting with South Dakota native Tom Byrum. This is the first group off the first tee this morning. In the first hole, he would miss the birdie putt in this one, but he would end up making par coming up right here. Long putt going on. But then second hole, nice chip off the green. He would get it within a couple feet, about 6 feet away there. Saves par in this one, just able to tap it in. So off to a pretty good start, but then in a little bit of trouble moving on to hole 4. He'd have to punch out on this one. Nice approach, but yet again, that's been the story of the day for Byrum. Ended up missing the birdie putt, settles for par, but great to see him in his home state competing.
Yeah, it was a little different, I got to say. It was there was a little bit more pressure on me to play well, and I felt like I handled it pretty good. But as I got into the round, I felt like I left a few out there, but satisfied with the start, but definitely left quite a few, out there. Didn't birdie a couple of the reachable par 5s, and just, but hopefully I can relax a little bit more each day and play a little bit better each day.
Well, another player in that first group of the day with Midwestern ties, Jerry Smith from Iowa. Great story. Played on the Asian Tour, played on the Nationwide Tour, which is now the Web.com Tour, played on the PGA Tour in the early 2000s, now making his way with the Tour Champions and finishing in first after one day. First hole, great approach from the rough, would end up missing the birdie putt, settles for par on hole 2. Would also miss the green, but nice chip comes up right beyond the hole. Cruises a little bit by it, but he would end up tapping that one in for par about 3 feet out. Now hole number 4, center of the fairway, great approach just off the green, about 60 feet from the cup. That's where this one lands, so not a bad chip by any means. Has to definitely look this over, but watch this putt. Plays the slope perfectly. Ends up sinking this monster putt for eagle, one of 2 eagles on the day. He's currently tied at the top of the leaderboard with Steve Stricker.
Yeah, I mean, I really, I've been driving the ball, decent, here of late, and I drove it pretty well again today. But, with my irons, and especially when you got the ball in your hand and you're teeing the ball up, and I mean, I in the par 3s, I just hit a lot of really poor, iron shots today. So it wasn't like I was hitting a lot of things close, and it was an easy 6 under round. I mean, other than maybe say they're on 18, I finally hit a good approach. But, I made 2 long eagle putts, and I would say that was that really kind of kick-started me on number 4. And I made a few good short ones there early on to, just keep things going. But the 2 eagles definitely, and, yeah, I mean, I made, besides that, I know I made 2 or 3 other putts that were outside of 20 feet.
All right, well, more highlights, more player interviews coming up, but up next, I am joined here on the set by Champions Pro and college coach at the University of Illinois, Mike Small, to talk about his first professional round at Minnehaha. Stay right here. Welcome back to the Sanford International presented by Cambria here at Minnehaha Country Club in Sioux Falls. I am joined by Champions Pro Mike Small, who's also the head coach of men's golf at the University of Illinois. First of all, welcome to Sioux Falls. And also, what do you think of the city so far?
I love it. First time I've ever been here, and I've really enjoyed it. Great people are great.
Yes.
Everybody's so helpful and so welcoming, and then a lot of rain, though.
Oh, gosh, yes. 5 inches of rain fell yesterday, and I've lived in Sioux Falls for 3 years now. We've had some rainstorms. South Dakota weather is all over the board, but to get 5 inches of rain of all days when we have our first ever PGA Tour Champions event coming to the city was epic. But overall, I mean, how do you feel the grounds crew did with cleaning up the course?
Phenomenal. I mean, I just commented on how much rain there was because I didn't think there was any chance we could even play. But
yeah.
This is a big deal, and you can tell that the members, the people in the town are taking it as a big deal, and the staff did an awesome job. The course is in great shape. We were talking today during the round how dry it seemed for all the rain they got.
Yeah, well, I was noticing on the Golf Channel a little bit, they're talking about the greens and the speed of the greens, how they thought it might be a little slower because of all the rain, but from what the announcers were saying, the speed seemed to be okay. So what did you think on the greens?
They were a little slower today
than they were
in the practice rounds, but they'll speed up as the week goes on. Humidity will get out of here, the sun will come out, and this place is awesome. This place is fun to play.
Fantastic. Well, how do you feel about your first round?
I shot 1 under par. I didn't play my best. I didn't have my best game today, but I hung in there. Competed pretty well, really. But I got to have a low one tomorrow. I got to shoot 6 or 7 under tomorrow. Well,
it should be pretty great weather. I think it's about to be like 70 degrees out here. Sunshine, everything. I'm a huge fan of the fall here in South Dakota. But what do you have to take into tomorrow? I mean, specifically, what do you want to work on?
Well, I was on the range here after the round working on some ball striking stuff. I got to hit the ball closer. On these greens, if you keep it below the hole, you can make some putts. If you get even pin high off to the sides, they pitch so much from back to front.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a good read on them. And then I think a lot of the players are hitting a lot of the greens. This course isn't overly long, and as soft as it is, it's easy to probably hit some greens. But getting it close to the hole is what you have to do, and I'm sure the leaders did that today.
Now, they did shorten some of the tee boxes because of the weather. Do you like that or not? Because with the rain, I mean, those fairways can get a little tight with the shorter tee boxes.
Yeah, they did shorten the course. They had to make some adjustments because of the weather. But I anticipate this weekend the course is going to show its teeth. I think the wind's still going to blow.
Yep, South Dakota.
I love it. I tell you, I've never really spent much time in South Dakota, but I've been impressed. I mean, I really have.
Well, welcome. But yes, it is windy here. Not a whole lot of trees. You're probably seeing 90% of them on this course for the whole state. But how did the wind play into your game today?
The wind, at least you knew what direction was coming from.
Yes.
Sometimes you get a 5 or 10 mile an hour wind and it switches back and it kind of gusts. Today it was pretty significant, but you knew where it was coming from. And again, the course is soft enough to where if you got it up in the wind and a little offline, it would still hold its spot on the green. When they firm up and the wind blows, this course, I said, can be difficult. And this course shows its teeth on the greens.
Yes.
And that's something that I think the players are preparing themselves for. And 7 under leading today, I don't think you're going to see a lot more scores like that, or even better if this place dries out.
Now, you are college coach at the University of Illinois. We'll get to one of your players in a little bit, but to play the game at the level that you do and then go back and coach these young kids, and you can teach them so much, but in the end they have to go and execute. What's that like to teach them everything you know and then just watch them try and execute it?
Well, that's the fun of it. The fun of it, I had my card on the PGA Tour in the 1990s, and I lost my card, and I wish I knew then what I know now. So I coach my guys on what maybe I didn't do very well, and of what I saw the best players in the world do pretty well. So it's been a good run. I enjoy being close to the guys, developing relationships, seeing them grow. But I still have the itch to play and
Yeah.
to compete, and it helps my coaching so much to be able to
Oh, I bet.
take these experiences from this week and go back and work with my guys, and they want me to play.
Yeah.
I mean, they encourage me to do it, so it's a great situation. But I'm very happy coaching. But this is my 6th event out here this year. I've had some success, and I like to finish the season off in style.
All right, I'm sure they're rooting for you. One more question I got to ask you.
Sure.
Charlie Danielson. Tell me all about this kid. For you guys who don't know, he graduated from the University of Illinois a few years back, was an outstanding golfer for you, but also a close family friend. So when I found out I was interviewing
Right.
you, I was pumped. What can you say about Charlie?
Well, Charlie's from the Minneapolis area,
Yep.
on the Wisconsin side, but we've had a lot of great players come through Illinois in the
Yeah.
last 10 or 12 years. A bunch of guys on the PGA Tour, but Charlie Danielson is our only 4-time All-American.
Yep.
Pretty unique,
Outstanding.
pedigree he has there, and but he's injured right now. He's not
Yeah.
playing. He had knee surgery about a month or two ago, and he's mending. But you watch that name in the future. We've had, like I said, some good young players that have gone on and had some success on the PGA Tour and European Tour and playing in majors. And but Charlie's on that track. He's just got to get healthy.
Yes. All right, Mike. Well, thank you so much for coming out, doing this interview with us, and welcome to Sioux Falls. It's great to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm having a blast. Thank you very much.
All right, again, Mike Small here on the PGA Tour Champions at Minnehaha Country Club. Well, we're going to break for a second, but when we come back, more highlights from this first round today. Stay right here on Midco Sports Live.
Midco Sports Network, live from the Sanford International, is sponsored by Sanford Power Golf Academy.
Welcome back to Midco Sports Live here at Minnehaha Country Club in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, broadcasting a show about the Sanford International presented by Cambria. It's been an outstanding week here. Even despite the rain, all the grounds crews have worked really hard to make this a great event for not only the community, but the golfers as well. Let's get to some highlights from round one today. This is hole one. Vijay Singh misses this birdie putt. A little disappointed in that. He would end up tapping this one in for par. Really long putt, but yes, makes par on that one. Moving on to hole two. This is Jeff Slum. Great shot, chip shot there. Out of the sand trap, gets within a few feet. Would end up making par on that one. Hole number 10. Franco for birdie. On that one, he is 1 under after today. Hole number 12. Franco from the fairway. Beautiful shot right here. And that would lead him to an eagle. So he'd be under 3 on the day. Right there, taps it in for eagle. Not taps it in, puts it in from about 20 feet. So phenomenal shot there. Great work. All right, hole number 11. The celeb. Everyone was looking forward to watching John Daly, and glad to see him playing. Just misses the par putt coming up right here. A few feet out. He's been playing through some injuries, but still excited to be out there. But yes, just misses that par putt. But still, lots of fans showing out to see John Daly play this course. Just looking for his creative and fun pants. But maybe he'll have those tomorrow. All right, let's move on to hole number 12. This is Duffy Waldorf. Great approach shot right here. You can see that water has risen so much from 5 inches of rain falling on Sioux Falls yesterday. But yeah, Waldorf misses eagle, settles for birdie. Hole number 5, Colin Montgomery from the rough. The rough was hard to deal with today, pretty sticky and pretty nasty because of that rain. But he ends up draining this putt for birdie, so great way to handle that rough. Scott McCarron, moving on. His chip would go well past the pin, as you'll see right here. A little tough to play that longer grass, hard to gauge with all this water coming down, and the greens were slower today, but he drops the putt and saves par right here. As you can see, those greens fighting the force, pretty saturated out there, but the humidity will help with that moving on to the weekend. And then finally, hole number 6. This is Steve Stricker. He's got quite the schedule coming up. Co-captain for the Ryder Cup. Nice tee shot. And he would end up making that putt for birdie. So Steve Stricker is 7 under after day 1. 4-way tie for first. So birdie putt right there. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Jerry Smith, Brant Jobe, Steve Stricker, and David McKenzie, all 7 under, a 4-way tie for first. Scott McCarron, Lee Jansen, Paul Goidos, 6 under. They're tied for second. And then Mike Goodis, John Huston, Todd Hamilton, all under 5. So those are the results after day number 1 here at the Sanford International, presented by Cambria. Looking forward to some great weather tomorrow, but we're going to take a break for a second. Coming up next, we will have more from Midco Sports Live, some highlights. We'll also take a look at hole number 17 later on in the show and how they pick how to set these holes on the green. Stay here.
Midco Sports Network, live from the Sanford International, is sponsored by Sanford Power Golf Academy.
All right, welcome back. Well, when you're watching a golf tournament, have you ever wondered who gets to decide where they place the pins, the hole in the green, the tee boxes, all that? Well, we are wondering the same thing. So we put that to the test. We actually put the question to the course pro and groundskeeper, who has been busy enough handling this reins here at Minnehaha Country Club, to get the advice that they gave to the PGA officials going into the Sanford International. Take a look.
It was fun when we walked the course in the winter. One of the comments that they said is, I want to be able to set 3 pins and not get fired. And ultimately that's kind of our job, to help them find those pins that doesn't get them fired.
They're smaller greens and a lot of movement. You know, a lot of that 3 to 5% slope where it's like we don't really know where to put the pin, and I'm like, oh, we put the pin over here every other Wednesday or every Saturday, and so we'll probably help them out, you know, and I wouldn't say talk them off the cliff, but like I think they're a little bit worried about where not to put the pin.
And it's all relative to speeds. You know, these greens were built in 1922, or the lion's share of them were, and the undulation that you see on these greens were at 8.5 or 9 on the green speeds. Where now we're at 10 and a half, 11, and even over 11. And some of the pins that we could set back in 1922, 1930, we can't set today because of the speeds, and you just cannot get a ball to actually stop. So the PGA Tour will make the final decision on where the pin locations are. I'm sure they're all real smart, and they'll lean on Dave a little bit and say, okay, with green speeds like this, you know, where do you think we can? More of it's pattern. You know, they want to make sure that traffic patterns are leaving the green to the next tee. So you'll see a lot of that type of scenario. So, you know, they cut a lot of the spike marks off, but certain winds, you know, they will set them in advance. But it's a lot more to do with traffic patterns. More so than it is, well, this is harder and that's not. Yeah, they will throw a couple of them, but a lot of it has to do with traffic over the week, with the pro-ams to the tournament, and then day 1, day 2, and day 3.
Interesting. And Mickey Finn says that there's actually no set rule on how close or far the hole has to be from any edge of the green, but there's a recommendation that it be at least 4 paces away from any edge, but only a recommendation. However, the hole is only 4¼ inches in diameter, so that is why putting is so hard. But anyways, great to get that info here at the Sanford International. We're going to take a break for a second, but coming up, we will go over hole 17 here at Minnehaha Country Club in Sioux Falls, tell you all about it and what challenges the golfers are facing with it. Stay right here. Welcome back to Minnehaha Country Club. There are all sorts of great spots out here for fans, spectators of all kinds, to watch their favorite golfers. So let's take a look at one of those spots in particular. One of the party destinations for spectators in the area surrounding the green on hole 17. Here's what it looks like tee to the green. Par 3, it's playing about 190 yards. Even with the rain, there aren't any sand traps. But traditionally, as all the greens are here at Minnehaha Country Club, a tilted and sloping green. So players are definitely having to adapt to that. So here's what it looked like today with fans in the stands. It was packed. Here's some of the best shots of the day at 17. David Toms, nice shot right over the pin. Tries to make this putt. It's a long one, just misses it. But moving on, the leader today, tied for, actually a four-way tie, would be Steve Stricker. As we see him on hole 17. Look at those stands. The fans were absolutely pumped despite the weather, everything. They showed out here in Sioux Falls, excited about this event. But here is Steve Stricker, and he was phenomenal all day. Ends up sinking this birdie putt. Just short. All right, well, let's take a look at the leaderboard after today to see how the golfers did after day one. Jerry Smith, Brant Jobe, Steve Stricker, David McKenzie, 7 under on the day. Scott McCarron, Lee Jans, and Paul Goydos, all 6 under. They're in a tie for 5th. And then Mike Goodis, John Huston, and Todd Hamilton, 5 under. So tie for 8th right there. Pretty tight at the top after day one, but it's going to be much nicer tomorrow. Quickly, let's take a look at the spectator tips, actually, for fans coming out tomorrow. To make sure they have great etiquette and everything, but you guys know how it is. Golf tournament, don't be too loud or anything. Your event ticket must be displayed at all times. Bring your sunscreen tomorrow. It's going to be hot. I don't think you'll need an umbrella, and also cell phones, no flash. No calls, keep that on silent. Well, that's all for Midco Sports Live today from the Sanford International. We'll see you tomorrow.